What is up, guys? Welcome back to another video on the channel. Today we're going to be talking about signs she's cheating on you, right? There's a myriad of signs that would indicate that a girl is cheating on you, but we're going to be ranking them based on the weight of this particular sign. So if the sign is huge, you're probably going to end up on high probability or guaranteed cheating. If the sign is something you should keep in mind, but it's not an immediate red flag, then it's probably going to end up in one of these two tiers. And if the sign means nothing at all, then it's going to end up at the bottom. Anyways, if you guys want to see more content like this, make sure you subscribe to the channel, and yeah, let's get started. So the first thing we have on the list is secretive about her phone. See, there's two kinds of women, right? There's really two kinds of women. The first kind of woman doesn't give a fuck. Like, if you grab her phone randomly, let's say that you guys are eating dinner or whatever, you grab her phone and you just start kind of going through it, she's not gonna get stressed. She's gonna be like, oh, what the fuck are you doing? Like, she might be a little bit confused, but she's not gonna get nervous and start panicking. And then there's a type of girl who kind of puts her phone on the table face down, is a little bit secretive about her phone, and every time you try grabbing that shit just to test what would happen, she starts freaking the fuck out. She starts flipping out. Oh, I can't believe you don't trust me. What the fuck? You're not supposed to do that. Like, just starts going berserk on you. That should give you some kind of indication that, okay, there's something going on there on her phone. I don't think that it's always about, oh, you're violating our trust in the relationship. I mean, maybe it is to some degree, but I feel like girls should not mind if a guy grabs her phone. Like, if she's secure, she knows she's not doing anything wrong, you should kind of be able to get away with it. You should be able to kind of go through it. Obviously, people deserve their privacy, but in a situation like this, I think this is more than just a case of, I want to protect my privacy. There's definitely something going on there. She's probably texting somebody else. Maybe she's not physically cheating, but a lot of girls emotionally cheat, right? A lot of girls are gonna, entertain options like text back and forth, but they don't really plan on doing anything. It's kind of hardwired in their subconscious to do that because they are survival oriented, like I've said a million times on the channel before, and they always want to have some kind of safety net in case the relationship goes south, or in case you abandon her, or something like that. So I would say that this is probably a high probability sign. You can make the argument that some women are more secretive about their phone than others because they just don't really like showing guys what's going on their phone, but it doesn't mean that they're cheating. But yeah, I would say in most cases this is definitely a high probability sign. Next up, we have accuses you of cheating, a classic case of projection. Usually when someone is guilty of something, they accuse the other party of being guilty of that same thing. So if she's cheating on you, you're gonna notice her accusing you of shit out of the blue, and you might be thinking like, what the fuck is this bitch doing? Because I literally didn't do shit, and she's out here fucking having a panic attack over a dream she had about me cheating, right? Women do that, but if she's constantly accusing you of shit, she's constantly paranoid, and it's just baseless, like there's nothing to suggest that you're doing anything wrong, and it's completely one-sided on her end, then this is a classic case of projection. People like to project their own behavior onto other people. It's like this internal guilt mechanism thing that's going on. So I'm gonna put this at high probability as well, if she does this consistently, right? Some girls are just very attached and they really like a guy, so naturally they're going to kind of be worried that he's going to cheat on them. That's fine. But if this is a ongoing thing and she's just coming out with these fucking crazy accusations, then yeah, it's a high probability sign. Next up, we have you catch her lying about the little things. Guys, let me tell you something. People who lie about the little things tend to also lie about the really big things. So if you catch her in these little lies, don't ignore them, right? If she says that she came home at a certain time, but she actually came home a couple hours later, take a mental note of that. If she says she was with this group of people, but you come to find out that she was actually with perhaps some different people, keep a mental note of that. Basically, if she's lying about these little details, you have to wonder, what else is she lying about? Is she seeing someone behind my back? I don't promote guys to be fucking paranoid and obsessed with what their girl is doing, because that's not masculine. But again, like, if a girl's cheating, you got to take action. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I would say her lying about the little things, definitely a big sign. You should keep this in mind. Just don't let it slip past your awareness. By the way, if you want to make sure this shit never happens to you, get good at understanding female psychology, be able to attract pretty much any girl you want, be able to cold approach with confidence and have conversations with women, make sure you check out my school, Esoteric Attraction Archives. I go super in depth on games, seduction, looks maxing, everything you need to know so that you can get better with women, flip the primal switch in her brain so she pretty much becomes obsessed with you. And we just crossed over 100 members. We have guys in there cold approaching, getting wins with women, going on dates, and even having relationships from those approaches. So if you're interested in joining a community of guys learning game, getting on weekly calls with me, getting all the gems that you need to transform your dating life, then check the link in the description. Next up, we have she has cheated before. This is actually a huge sign. I'm actually going to put this at guaranteed cheating. People generally don't change. People generally repeat the same patterns that they've been repeating their entire lives. So if a woman has cheated before, this should give you a huge indication that she's likely to do it again. The same goes for men. People who cheat in general continue to cheat, right? So, maybe this girl truly loves you, maybe you guys get along, but if she's cheated before, I would say that, it's realistically, it's high probability, but because this is actually a very, very strong predictor of whether somebody will continue to cheat in the future, I kind of have to put it at the top of the list, guys. Do I believe people can change? Absolutely. Do I believe in giving second chances? You have to be careful with that. Do it under your own discretion, but the statistics don't lie, the science doesn't lie, and the science has very clear evidence that people who have cheated before are likely to do it again. It's not about you, it's about them. Next up, we have she is emotionally unstable. So, I'm not going to put this too high, actually. I'm probably going to put it at, one of these two, maybe big sign, or actually, let's put it low probability. There's a lot of women who are emotionally unstable, but they wouldn't necessarily cheat. Actually, not screw that. I'm putting it one tier higher. Generally, women who are more emotionally unstable, you see her fucking crying a lot, and then she's happy the next day, and her emotions are kind of all over the place. She's not grounded, then chances are she would be pretty difficult to sustain in a long-term relationship, in my experience at least, because women who are like that tend to be more impulsive and tend to make worse decisions. And if she's feeling a certain kind of way and then the right guy comes along while she's feeling that particular emotion, he might have some kind of cognitive or psychological hold on her, if that makes sense. So be wary of emotionally unstable women, but I do have to say most women are emotionally unstable to some degree, right? We all know women are, their emotions are fucking all over the place. So I'm not going to put this any higher than here, but it's definitely something to keep track of. Next up, she has a history. I'm definitely going to put this at high probability for sure. If a woman has a lot of history, like, she's been around the block, guys who've been with her, their brothers have also been with her, their cousins have also been with her, and there's just a lot of lore. Like, you know what I'm talking about, dude. I don't really want to elaborate on this because it might be uncomfortable to a lot of people, but if the chick has lore, if she's been ran through before, she has a high body count, whatever, then that is probably a huge sign that, she's cheating. Not only because of the scientific aspect, like pair bonding and her ability to emotionally connect with a guy on a deeper level, but also because of the fact that, she might start to miss some of her old flings. Women who are in this category tend to not really be able to settle with one person because there's just so much history, so much lore in their heads, and a lot of women like to have a blast from the past. So unfortunately, this is going to go right here. Next up, we have she uses dating apps, or she has used dating apps before. Now, in terms of the quality of the women that you meet, I prefer to categorize them in two separate categories. Has she had dating apps or not? Because there's like women who use dating apps and there's women who've never used a dating app in their life. I know that's hard for a lot of people to believe, but trust me, a lot of women that you meet through cold approaching and through ConvoCircle and through more wholesome leads, they've never had a dating app in their life, bro. I'm telling you. And, women who tend to have dating apps obviously have huge egos because of the amount of attention that they get from men, but also they've probably been around. They've probably hooked up with a lot of guys. They treat relationships with men more casually than women who don't have dating apps. And so because of that, I would say it's a big sign. You should definitely keep it in mind. Now you might be thinking, okay, but what if we met on a dating app? Yeah, again, who did she meet before you on dating apps? That's what you have to ask yourself. What happened before and what will happen after? You know what I'm saying? So I really don't like the dating apps. You guys already know, any chance I get to shit talk dating apps, I probably will. If you're looking for a hookup, it's great though. Next up, dead bedrooms, guaranteed cheating. If you haven't been intimate with your woman for longer than I'd say a week or two, chances are something's going on. Something deeply primitive and psychological is going on. You demonstrated lower value over the course of your entire relationship, and her attraction for you just continued to drop and drop and drop until she's had enough, and then she meets some guy who approaches her in the grocery store, and the rest is history, right? So if you're in a situation where there's a dead bedroom, just understand that it's a dead bedroom for you and very likely not her. Next up, we have emotionally pulling away. We all know that women cheat with their emotions, men cheat with their sexuality. And so if a woman is emotionally pulling away from you, especially if you guys are in a long-term relationship, and she just continues to appear distant, she's not giving you as much energy, she's not putting in a lot of effort to see you or to take care of you or, to just have conversations with you, then chances are she's emotionally pulling towards somebody else. Women are very calculated with their approach to men, and so typically what they will do before they completely start to pull away from you is have another option lined up in some capacity, right? So usually they'll be talking to another guy, they'll be like, okay, I've kind of vetted him, he seems to be a good option for me in the future, he seems to be somebody that is much more attractive than my current boyfriend, and they will pull away months before they eventually break up with you and then monkey branch to the next dude. So keep that in mind. Emotionally pulling away is a high probability. Now, if this happens for like a few days, or you guys got into an argument, or it's something very minor, then it's okay. I would say that it's, it doesn't really say anything. But if this emotional pull away has been going on for a long time and you don't know the reason for it, she's not making an effort to communicate with you, there's a chance that cheating is going on. Next up, her friends are cheaters. I'm going to put this at big sign for sure. Not every girl is going to be like her friends, but women tend to be more groupthink than men do. So if her friends are cheaters, they're going to influence her negatively. They're going to try to prompt her to do bad things that you wouldn't approve of as her boyfriend. And you got to remember, man, her friends, especially when they're out on these girls' nights and stuff, they really sink their claws into your woman's mind. So keep in mind that the behavior of her friends are likely to reflect her own behavior. Next up, she's a dopamine junkie. So, if you're dating a girl who likes to vape a lot, who eats shit food like candy and sugar and smokes and drinks and does all this other shit and just has a surplus of dopamine going on in her brain, then she's probably not mentally stable and she's probably going to do something. And women who are looking for the next high all the time tend to be nymphos, tend to be very sexual, but the con that comes with that is they're very likely to be impulsive and make bad decisions. So if your girl is a dopamine junkie, she can't sit still, she always needs the next high in everything that she does, that I would say is a pretty big sign. Next up, we have she goes clubbing often. I would also say this is a big sign. Some of you may say, why don't you put this any higher? And that's because sometimes a girl will go clubbing for fun, hang out with her friends, and actually reject every guy there. But the fact that she's putting herself in that kind of environment is already a pretty shitty thing. And especially if she's doing it very often, she's rolling the dice. She's playing roulette with your relationship, and that is not okay. And lastly, we have her ex is in the picture. If she still talks about her ex, if she still follows her ex, if they're still friends, which is even worse, then I would say that this is a very high probability sign that she is likely to cheat in the future. And if she doesn't cheat, she's likely to break up with you so that she can have her fun with him. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. These are the signs that she's cheating. I hope you learned from it, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.